locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. Well, if you want to make a difference in the world and you are a coach, a healer, whatever your gift is, you got to find a way to attract clients. You can't make an impact if you're not attracting the ideal clients that you want to work with. So this is a challenge, I would say, for every coach, consultant, entrepreneur, business owner. How do we attract paying clients who are going to support us in our desire to support them and to make a transformation in the world? Well, that's the million-dollar question. How do we do that? Today's guest is going to help dial that in for us. I am speaking with Lisa Meisels. She is the go-to expert helping female spiritual entrepreneurs and change-making coaches attract committed, high-paying clients without confusion, hype, hustle, or burnout so they can make a positive impact and transform the world. Lisa brings her energy and magical touch to help women find and express their authentic voice so their message magnetizes their dream clients. It sounds like what everyone needs. So, Lisa, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Well, thank you for having me.
You are going to share with us, among other things, 3 tips to naturally exude charisma and magnetize clients to you. So this is all about, one of my favorite sayings is making money while you're making a difference. So before we get into that, first tell us, how did you get started in this space? What is your journey?
Well, I will tell you that in 2012, I started my online business and I was really excited about it. I started telling everybody what I did, but nobody understood me because I didn't know how to articulate it. I didn't know how to, I didn't know who I was or what my message was or who I was here to help at that point. And through my journey, I realized that my gift is really helping other female coaches and change makers to align to their purpose and express their unique brilliance. And that's when they exude the charisma that I'm talking about and attract the high-paying clients. So I really help people with their messaging. But I got started because I struggled. I struggled to find my message. I struggled to find my people, and I struggled to find clients.
Isn't that interesting that in your quest to understand how to communicate your value, your worth, your transformation to other people, you realized lots of people struggle with this. And so you figured out how to do that in a way that not only works for you, but also works for the people that you work with. So tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what do you do for them?
Yeah, so I work with female coaches and change makers, and I help them with a 4-phase process, kind of is what I tell them. I help them explore their unique purpose. I help them create magnetic positioning. I help them with their monetization, and then I help them expand. And really what this means is I help them step into who they're here to be. And, it's funny that, just going back to your last question real quick, I had this period of time where I was in limbo. I was finally able to quit my job, and I was really excited because I was going to be able to spend time on my ranch and be outside and do all these wonderful things and have that dream life everybody talks about. But I was stuck in front of the computer and I was working on my business and trying every new strategy, and I got burned out again. And this is a pattern that I know happens to a lot of people, and it happened to me. And so I used my inner guidance to to listen this time when I got burned out. And it was screaming at me like, stop and let go of control. And it's funny because I couldn't even think about my business at that time. I was walking my property and I just would come home with these pocketfuls of rocks. The quartz crystals are beautiful around here. And I didn't know what I was doing, but it was like this whole letting go process. It's like I had not relaxed and let go. And what I do know is that when you're able to finally, align and step into who you're here to be, first you have to relax. And then you have to listen to your inner guidance. And then you're able to really open up and have that breakthrough. And for me, the breakthrough is, I know when the breakthrough comes when I'm starting to be creative. So anytime I want to paint or, go outside and pick up sticks and play with wood or do whatever I do creatively, I know that there's a big breakthrough coming. So I just wanted to share that because I think that's really, it's really something that I see a lot in my clients, and I know that happens for a lot of people. So going back to the phases, you have to know who you are, right? We all have a purpose here on earth, I believe. And my clients feel this huge pull. They can't let it go. There's nothing they can do but move towards what they're supposed to move towards. And even though they don't know what it is, they feel this pull towards it.
Does everybody have a purpose? Is it something that is universal? And if so, why is it so difficult? Why is it so hard for us to understand what that purpose is? It seems like it's such a preoccupation with people, and it is kind of confusing for people. So how do we discover that? Well,
it's so simple. It's hard. And and it is a thing, it's like we're all searching out, for what it is, and we're searching outside for the validation, and we're searching inside. And really, my belief is that we're here to enjoy life. And that's the path. Like, that you're on the right path when you are enjoying yourself. That's when things open up. That's when things come to you. That's when you are exuding abundance and charisma, is when you're in joy.
I love that. And it is very simple, the way you put it. And what a contrast between that state of being compared to what we talked about in the introduction. Attracting committed, high-paying clients without confusion, hype, hustle, burnout. And when you're in that state, you're not going to attract anyone to do anything. You're going to repel people. They don't want to be around someone that's confused, hyped, hustling, and burned out, stressed out.
Yep.
And so you really are teaching people to make some very powerful shifts in their life and how they relate to people. And it really, that's that energy that they bring, that is what really affects that relationship going on, or if there's even going to be a relationship.
Absolutely. I believe that deeply connecting with people is what it's all about. I mean, that's what we're missing here in the digital age, and that's what we're kind of trending going back to, right? Is the connection piece. And when you're able to really understand, when people feel understood, and I think you even say this, when people feel understood, they're going to lean into you. And if you're not clear, and if you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't know how to talk to the person, they're not going to feel like you get them, and they're not going to become a client.
I mean, we cannot lead anyone someplace that we have never been ourselves. And that's where fake it till you make it doesn't work when you're leading people over the edge of a cliff and everyone, crashes and burns. Some things you just can't fake. You either got it or you don't.
Right.
So what would you say as we are working on ourselves? Before we can change the world, we have to change ourselves. What is the biggest problem? Why is it so hard? And what's the greatest obstacle that you have to work with these gifted women to get them to the place mentally, spiritually, in their energy that they're able to resolve this so that they can then make that transformation in others?
Well, I think, I see so many coaches and healers struggling to get clients, and it's not because what they're not offering is valuable. It's because they don't know how to talk about what they do. Like I didn't know how to articulate what I did at first. And when you don't feel clear, you don't feel authentic, and that lowers your confidence, that lowers your energy. And then people want to, then they feel like they have to be pushy or salesy or convincing, because they're like, wait, come back. Let me tell you more. And that doesn't work. So they end up giving away their services or lowering their fees. I had a client, her name was Jennifer, and she was super smart. She was so knowledgeable, and she kept taking more educational courses and more certifications to become more confident. But it wasn't that she didn't know her stuff. It was she didn't know how to articulate it. She didn't know how to put her offers together. She didn't know how to explain or talk about, what she did and how, and the results that she got. So once we started working on that, then she was getting clients, because you've got to be clear. That's one of the first steps. Like, be clear on who you are, who you're helping, and what results you get.
That is so true. My academic and professional background is strategic communication, interestingly enough. And so what you're saying really resonates. It's the messaging, what we say, how we say it. And it just struck me as you were describing someone who is trying to persuade people so desperately that it comes across as hype or as hustling. Really, what they're trying to do is not convince the other person. They're trying to convince themselves that they really are all that they think that they are. And so what you're saying, Lisa, is it's not about their own intrinsic value. It's being able to communicate that in a way to articulate who they are in a way that is genuinely authentic. And that's what brings the confidence in the conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. You've got to be, if you don't feel authentic, you kind of hold back, and your energy you hold your energy back, and then people don't feel you as you. They feel you with that block. And so a lot of what I do is about feeling energy, feeling into the energy of what you're doing. And
that is really powerful.
Just, yeah, it's fun.
Really powerful. And so then, someone listening to this, I think it's going to resonate. And maybe there's hope, if you're listening to this and you're struggling, that maybe the struggle isn't with you as much as it is your message. And, I have worked with a lot of brilliant people who they just didn't know how to articulate what it is that they did. Their brilliance is not in being able to communicate their message. The brilliance is in whatever they're gifted in to create the transformation. And not everyone is gifted in being able to create transformation through communication. Having said that, we have listeners now, I think, that are intrigued and want to know, what can we begin to do? How can we work on this energy? And how can we begin to take steps? And you mentioned the first one is to get clear, but what are some things that you recommend that we can begin doing?
Well, I think, one of the things is really understanding who you are and what you take a stand for. And once you people talk about the why, but it's really much deeper than the why. And it's much simpler than what people teach us is the steps to the why. It's like, really, what do you take a stand for? What has your whole life led you up to this point? You've been set up to do something in your life, and your whole life has been a lesson to this point. What has that lesson taught you? What are you passionate about? And then connecting with, who are your people? There are a resonance. There's a match out there for you. And when you are showing up as you're going to attract people that are in that same resonance as you. And that's what makes it easy to attract clients. And, when I say high paying clients, I work with people to attract high paying clients so that they have the time to do the things that they love to do. Because you have to, if the first year in my business full time, I burnt myself out because I went right from my corporate job right into the same structure. And it doesn't work like that when you're an entrepreneur. You've got to have time to replenish yourself. You have to take time off. You have to take breaks. You have to take time to connect to, nature and your higher source or whatever you believe in. Those are like necessary things. You've got to have supreme self-care. All these things are so important. And what happens when people start online is that they are told so many different strategies that they try all of them, and they end up like me, sitting at my computer stuck and trying to figure it all out. And that's when your energy dives down. That's when you get burnt out, and that's when you start repelling people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it makes sense when you explain it the way you just did. It makes total sense. And, for skeptics who say, well, I just don't know about all this client attraction stuff. Guess what? It's already working. When you project the negative energy and you attract the clients that you don't want, the ones that are giving you the problems, the ones that you are complaining about, the ones that don't have money, that don't like you, don't like what you do, and you take them anyway because you have no choice. It's working. It's just working in the reverse, right? So we've already demonstrated that this works. You're just attracting the wrong kind, but now all we have to do is turn that around and use that in a positive way to attract the ones that you want, not the ones that you don't want.
Yes. And I think a lot of people starting their business get stuck in that, the lack, they think that they have to take that client, because if they don't, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And it just really just goes bad from there, because when you take a person that you don't resonate with, they don't get the results that they want. You don't get the results for them that they want. It just is not a match.
Makes a lot of sense.
And that's a big lesson.
Now, how would someone who recognizes, for example, or to be specific to your ideal client, it's a gifted woman who is a spiritual entrepreneur, who is a change maker, and she realizes that her zone of genius is doing that, not in trying to figure out how to package and present her messaging. What would working with someone like you, how would that help them to really get where they want to be faster?
Well, what I do is I help them create that solid foundation for their business, so they know exactly who they're serving and all of their characteristics, and so they can connect at a very deep level. So it's not like they have to think about what they have to post or what to say. It's like they already know. It comes from their heart. It doesn't come from their head. And so I work on that with them. And one of the first things that I see when people come to me is they've got this. They have a service that gets people results, but they don't know where the people are. They're not finding them online. They're not connecting with their offers. And it's because they're not clear in who they're targeting. So that's always the first thing that I start with is let's figure out who your exact match is for your audience. That's like the first step of anything, right? I had a client, her name was Bonnie, and she needed better clarity on she just came to me and she's like, I just need my what do you do statement. Like I go to networking groups and I just need that what do you do statement. And she didn't know who her audience was. And that was the thing. It's like she wanted to be very general. And she'd been through a lot of, who's your avatar trainings. And when we did the initial process that I do with my clients, it was like she was really amazed because it was easy. It was natural. It just seemed like, oh yeah, of course that's who my people are. But there's so many jumbled thoughts in our head that we can't often be objective with our subjective stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so just after a couple hours of working together, she was able to get clients.
Wow.
Seriously, after a couple hours. Yeah.
Amazing. Once you have someone to show you the way, it reminds me of Columbus and after he discovered the New World, and then his critics said, well, anybody could have done what you did. And Columbus said, well, sure, after I showed you the way, all you had to do was follow it. That's
right.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and it's because you've been there and you understood that and worked through that for yourself, that you're able to help other people. And so that's really exciting. What are you working on right now, Lisa, that you are excited about and would like to share with our listeners?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm super excited about a program that I'm offering. It's taking all of the strategy that I used to teach, and I still do, but taking the strategy and mixing it with what I taught at my recent retreat, which is how to access your invisible resources, like how to really go deep into the resources that are available to all of us, like our sixth sense, right? Really understanding how to be intuitive and how to get guidance. And this is the stuff that I really love to do and interweave it with the strategy, because that's what creates an edge in your business. There's like quotes from, I don't know, all these famous people and different like Forbes and Inc. magazine, and they all use intuition. Like they all say you've got to have intuition in your business. You've got to use that. And so it's a resource available to us all, but it's how to use that, how to include it. So I have a program that gets you really clear on who you serve, creates the magnetic positioning so that you get that lean in from your audience and they see you as the go-to person for your service. And then we work on the offers and the sales process, but we really dive deep into resolving past patterns that keep looping, that keep you feeling stuck, like Groundhog Day. And we get to the root of those. So it's a really high, it's a high vibe group. It's a group where they can network, and it's really to grow into who you're here to be. So in this program, like your whole beingness will shift. And that's when you get to see, that's when things get to feel easy. That's when you get to have that life that you want and feel abundant and really see all the opportunities that are there for you.
Very exciting. So if this resonates with you as you listen to this and you'd want to find out more about Lisa Meisels, go to lisameisels.com. It's Lisa, Meisels.com, and we'll have that link on the Rebelpreneur website as well so that you can connect with Lisa and see what she's got going on and see how you might learn how to develop this intuition and exude charisma and get clients to be attracted to you. And I guess it would work not just for clients, but people in general. Anyone that exudes this charisma and this positive energy is going to find all kinds of people want to be associated with that.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
awesome.
you.
So any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to leave us with?
Well, I'll leave you with a quote from my book. My book is called Claim Your Brilliance, 50 Keys to Confidence, Visibility, and Success. So the quote goes like this: your uniqueness is your brilliance. And I think people forget that. At least the women in my generation who always wanted to fit in and do the right thing forget that they need to be unique and stand out. So it's a process to remember who we're here to be, but I think know that you are here on earth right now to stand out and be you. Be all of you in your uniqueness and shine. Express yourself and be true to you. That's what I want to say. Those are my words of wisdom.
Yes. Well, I love that. We don't need any more copycats and unoriginal people. Be who you are. Be unique, because that is where your zone of genius really is. Lisa Meisels is the go-to expert for helping female spiritual entrepreneurs and change-making coaches attract committed, high-paying clients without confusion, hype, hustle, or burnout, so they can make a positive impact and transform the world. If you want to find out more, go to lisameisels.com. Lisa, thank you so much for being on Rebelpreneur Radio today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.